Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, people? Back in Ronan's garage. How do I say this? We've had a hiccup. A slight hiccup. But we're working on fixing that. So I was on the hunt for an oil filter for the Buick. TurboCharged. Never had to deal with this. So I go and find a filter. I asked the parts person. They asked me some information. Based on what I knew, I gave them what they needed, and they gave me what I thought I needed. Turns out I was wrong. Not completely, just flat out wrong. I was headed in the right direction, but I made a misstep. There are two types of turbo engines for this particular vehicle. One is a canister, and the other is a paper filter. Not only that, with the paper filter, one has a funny little, what do you want to call it? One has like a spring-loaded cap, and the other one doesn't. I'm like, And if you remember back to that other video, I didn't have a socket to take the cap off. The oil filler cap. Well, not the oil filler cap, but the cap to change the oil filter. So I had to go out and buy one. Tried to buy just one. They sell it, but nobody close by had it in stock. So I got what I could get on short notice. And unfortunately, it was a half-inch drive. I'm comfortable with my 3/4 drive. Anyway, as I was cleaning out the garage, trying desperately to find a freaking 24 millimeter so I could take this other one back, I came across my old Craftsman half-inch drive socket wrench. I'm like, man, I forgot about this thing. They don't make them like that anymore. So, threw the socket on there. A little loose, but it worked. I changed the filter. Now, the problem is, if there's only two motors, why is there 3 variations? 2 different paper filters and 1 canister filter. I didn't think it was a canister filter. But the 2 paper filters, so I'm reading the instructions. Yes, I know most men don't read instructions, but every now and again, I'll read the instructions. So, I read the instructions, and it says you don't need the spring load. it's been redesigned. But my mechanical spidey sense kept tingling, and it's like, no, something's not right. It wasn't until after I went back to a different parts store and I kind of looked around in the back by the oil filters, looked up front by the counter to see who was there. Experience is what I was looking for. Not so much knowledge. If you study hard enough, you can memorize almost anything and then take a test, and then they'll pass you because you memorized what they wanted you to memorize. But there are some things in life that only experience can teach you what's the right call to make. And I was so grateful. There was an older white-bearded gentleman behind the counter, rugged looking. And we talked briefly. He had a confused look on his face and said, "The vehicle outside?" "Yeah, it's outside." Took down some information, came back. "I got your filter." "So you do?" Keyed in some information, turned the screen around. This is what they're calling for, but they also have this one. And when he showed me the second one, I said, yes, that is exactly the one that I need. That's the one I took out of the engine to see what it looked like. So my first go around, I messed up. Even though it's two turbo engines, like I said, there's 3 variations across two engine styles. One is a canister. He showed me that one. That wasn't it. The other 2 were paper filters. However, not only that, they're listing it by trim level. I don't remember having to go get a filter based on trim level. I've heard of it, usually with more, luxury style cars and trucks, but just your plain everyday, I didn't get it. But the particular trim level that I have requires a specific type of paper filter with the spring in it. That's the one that I took out. So this one, this is what I took out of it. It's got a little spring at the top. The one I purchased didn't have a spring. So my advice to you all, I would say 2012 and up, any 2012 and up. Make sure you know exactly what style engine and what trim level you have. I don't know what they're doing with the computers, why they're cataloging them parts the way they do, but nobody wants to be going back and forth to the parts store because you got the wrong part because you didn't know your trim level. So the trim level that I have requires the filter, paper filter with the spring on top. Unfortunately, they didn't have the good ones. Now, I just had it in my hand. This one is just like the other one, just cleaner. Now I got the right one, so I'll have to get my special socket, take the cap off, and just like with the Malibu, it's supposed to sit snug inside the cap. Well, not like the Malibu, I shouldn't say, because I was able to put the Malibu filter down into the groove and then just put the cap on it. But this one has a special slotted groove on the inside of the cap, and then it's got like a little rod coming out of the engine where the oil filter sits. I can't think of the name of that part. I've actually never seen that part inside like that. I'm pretty sure some professional mechanic will scold me for not being able to name the part that I'm talking about. I've had a few of them. What are you talking about? You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. I'm not a bad guy. Really, I'm not. Your fight is not with me. Your fight is with manufacturers and designers who put bolts and flanges in awkward places. What I'm doing is sharing my knowledge with the everyday layman, the people who want to save a couple of dollars by doing the work themselves. If you're going to do it to the best of your ability, so you won't have to take it to the mechanic and say, oh, I messed up my engine. That's where I come in. Even if I make mistakes, other people can learn from my mistakes so they don't do the same thing. That's how learning is. It's a true statement. You learn more, you learn better when you make mistakes and correct them. That way you know what not to do the next time. Now, this filter will be going into that engine today. I wonder what type of filter this was. Can't see the. Does it say GM? It might say GM. It might say GM. Can't really tell. But yeah. Matter of fact, they do make. Of course, they make a AC Delco. But one place didn't have it, and the other place they had to order it. So what do you have in stock? This, the one that I just showed you, the microguard. I've tried microguard filter before, and long term, nah, didn't care for it. The better filters out there. For this particular engine, it showed microguard, Mobile One, Fram, and of course Wix. But the problem is availability. I believe the The wicks filter, they had to order. The AC Delco filter, they had to order. The Fram, I didn't even ask about the Fram. I was too done after the other ones on the list. So when I get ready to change this one out at the next oil change, I will inquire about the Fram and the Mobile One. I do not want to return to the microguard, but I'll use it for now. I will use this for now. 102.83. But yeah, make sure you have the engine. Like I said, both of them are turbos. But the trim level, for some reason, the trim level is very important. It will let them know what type of filter to get you. In fact, what did I do with that paper? The gentleman gave me a paper because the two different filters have a code on them. Yep. Alright, I found it. Let's see. Okay. The list that he gave me has two different microguards. No, yeah, two different microguards. 2 wicks and a Mobile One canister filter. So the one that I need is called a UFI. So this one, the one with the spring on it, is a UFI. The other one is a Heist. I can't pronounce that, but let me see if I can show you real quick. Let me see. There we go. So you got microguard OE number. You got another microguard select with the UFI housing. Now, as I said, the housing is pretty similar to the Malibu, except for one major component. The Malibu didn't have spring in it, and it didn't have the little flanges right there. So it sits down in the engine like that, and there's a tube goes straight through the middle of this. And I'm thinking maybe that tube helps to regulate the pressure. You know, like in some canister filters, you have a bypass valve. So I'm thinking maybe the engineers decided to try and make a filter with some sort of bypass valve. That's just my theory. I'm not an engineer. I can't say for certain, but that's just my theory. So yeah, I picked up the microguard, and I will inquire later about the wicks and the Fram. UFI and whatever that other word is. I can't pronounce that. But yeah, make sure, unless you have a alternative transportation where you can take that filter out and take it up to the auto parts store and get the exact one off bat. Please, these newer vehicles, they got all kinds of all kinds of variations from the factory. And just because you changed oil filters before, that means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. Like I said, it's my first time with a turbo, but I didn't think it would be that difficult. Just go in there, tell them what type of vehicle you have, either paper or canister, and that's it. No. I was wrong. I literally had to go back outside, check the VIN numbers, and look for any tag that tells me what the trim level is. And that's how we got here. So, we've been letting the vehicle sit up for a while. It's getting hot outside. I'm going to change this filter, and I'll see you guys out on the road.